whose 2 goals in Bucharest took his season's total to 41, now needs only 2 more to break the Liverpool club record for one season. It's presently held by Roger Hunt, who hit 42 League and Cup goals in 1961-62. It was only 3 years ago that John Walk scored 36 in one season for his club, but that club was Ipswich, and today he finds himself in the invidious position of knowing any damage he does could help to send his old team down. Walk is ineligible for Europe, but now takes the place of Graham Souness, who is serving a one-match suspension. Craig Johnston keeps his place. 2 years ago, Ipswich finished runners-up to Liverpool, but since then 6 internationals have left, and now 3 others, George Burley, Terry Butcher and Kevin O'Callaghan, have been ruled out for the season through injury, as has Irvin Gernon. So Frank Yallop at number 2 starts only his 3rd league game, and Ian Cranston at number 6, his 5th. And the weather this afternoon, more in keeping with the opening of the county cricket season. Indeed, the footballers here are going to feel the heat. And the referee this afternoon is Trelford Mills from Barnsley. Ipswich manager Bobby Ferguson on the end of the row with his hand to his chin, testing time for him. But he had 2 wins over Easter. The stadium manager here, Bert Johnson, and his ground staff have got the Anfield pitch looking better than I've ever seen it in April. It's in superb condition as Liverpool in the red kick off, hoping to end a good week on a spectacular note as they chase their 3rd consecutive title. But there's Davray for Ipswich, and here's Alan Sunderland. Ipswich in blue, starting the match just above the bottom 3. Sunderland again, Putney, Gates. And that's Sunderland's cross, and Davray is coming in with Grobbelaar. Alan Sunderland in his 3rd month on loan from Arsenal. But when he was at Highbury, he had a very good scoring record against Liverpool. Got 6 goals against them in what were notoriously tight matches. Alan Hansen to Rush. Lawrenson, Dalglish. And now Neil. Walk's made a run forward, Dalglish is there too. Steve McCall. Putney taking the left-hand side of the Ipswich midfield. He was beaten to that by Ronnie Whelan. Flick by Sunderland to Gates. Putney. That's Frank Yallop on the far side for Ipswich. Sunderland's header. Rush. Hansen. Walk starts a run forward here. Craig Johnston was hoping to latch onto that. Osman got the better of Johnston. It's a good interception, actually. That was Davray up, and here's Alan Kennedy. Kennedy with Whelan making a strong run inside. Osman. Zondervan. Sammy Lee. Here's McCall. And the return ball to McCall was from Putney, and he got round Lawrenson nicely and pulled it back, but Ronnie Whelan was covering. Here's Gates. Lofted towards Davray at the far post, and Zondervan's coming in. Here's Walk. Lee. Offside. Kenny Dalglish. Lawrenson with Sunderland. Then it was Putney and Neil. Well played by Osman. Sunderland's header and a foul by Neil on Putney. Gates trying to dummy his old colleague John Walk. Here's Dalglish. Osman was in quickly and well. Here's Gates. Putney. Zondervan has got free on the far side for Ipswich. Yallop is coming up in support. Good effort. 20 years old, Frank Yallop. Made his debut on Merseyside recently in a 1-0 defeat at Everton. It's a good try. And the play set up by Romeo Zondervan. Walk to Lee. Johnston. Throw's been given. Steve McCall trying to set Osman up for the volley away, but the linesman flagged against him. So it's a throw to Liverpool, which Craig Johnston will take. And Sammy Lee ran on towards Walk. That's Rush. Neil. Ipswich have never won at Anfield. They do need something out of this match fairly desperately. McCall takes the kick. Davray with Kennedy. Flags up for a foul. Turn was by Gates, and the foul by Hansen. McCall. Into Davray, McCall again. Got Putney in support, but didn't find him. Here he is this time, though, number 7. Oh, Ian Rush on his way back intercepted that. Whelan played it forward too far. And all a bit of a mix-up. In that tangle, Craig Johnston appeared to take a knock. He was hobbling slightly. Walk. This is McCall. Putney's flick. Oh, Davray made a bold attempt to reach that. Now it's Johnston for Liverpool. And Davray got back for another touch, but it still won't run entirely for him. Nor for Liverpool, for that matter. Gates has made his run behind Sunderland. It was Lawrenson's header, and Gates will pick it up nicely. Looking for Davray on this side, the header back in, and Sunderland came in. That was a good effort by Ipswich. Lawrenson just lost his bearings slightly. Gates got the cross in. Davray able to knock it back in, and Alan Sunderland with the final effort. Here's Hansen. Walk. Lee in for Dalglish, but Osman very firm early on here. Had a good opening 10 minutes. Lee. And Played in by Walk, Davray back defending. Johnston, Dalglish. It was against Ipswich at Portman Road earlier this season that Kenny Dalglish scored that historic goal, completing 100 in English and Scottish League football. Driven by Putney. Zondervan, Jalop, and Sunderland couldn't quite get it down. Not a bad start though by Ipswich. They've created two promising openings. This is Lee. Dalglish allowing it to run. He got it back beautifully from Rush and then fired over. Smashing interchange again between two players who understand each other so well. Dalglish first off, the combination with Ian Rush, the layback, and then the shot. Alan Sunderland. And Ronnie Whelan was coming in behind Eric Gates and is alleged to have pushed him. Here's McCall. Into Brennan. Oh, nice back heel. Gates. Driven by Neal. Lawrenson's header. Sunderland. Johnston penalised, foot up. Indirect free kick then for dangerous play. Mark Brennan. Walks header out. Cranson. Jalop. It's a smart throw by Grobbelaar. It's got Sammy Lee away in space. Liverpool have four others forward with him. They're trying to stay onside and they failed, but the referee will apply an advantage. Dalglish questioning the linesman's flag. It was up. Davray. Now Osman. And Zondervan starts his run, and Kennedy slips up, and there are two waiting in the centre here. Gates and Davray. Sunderland's joined them, and Zondervan couldn't get the ball in because Kennedy recovered. Here's Jalop. And now Osman. McCall will come forward from left back. So after 15 minutes, it's Walk playing it forward. It's been a quarter of an hour in which Ipswich have settled down quite well, bearing in mind the difference in the league positions of these two teams. Hansen up with Davray. again. Oh, Brennan saw that well. He also saw Gates, who in turn saw Putney. Referee plays a good advantage as Gates was fouled. And Sunderland's coming in, and so is Zondervan, but the linesman has flagged against Alan Sunderland for some pushing. Something of a let-off then there for Liverpool. Johnston to Lee. This is Neil. And Johnston again, he's got behind McCall. What a bad cross, and Rush was arriving. Here's Lee and Kennedy. And Walk, it hit Osman. Good cross from the right by Craig Johnston. Putney into Osman. Brennan. So Kennedy for Liverpool. Hansen. Very warm afternoon, so not surprising to find the pace maybe a little languid at the start. The sun in the eyes of Davray there. McCall. Putney. Gates. Challenge was by Lawrenson. And Gates got the better of Walk there. This is Sunderland, and now Brennan. Another touch by Sunderland. Yallop. And Gates. And Davray. And the referee penalising Mark Lawrenson. Not far outside the penalty area. Just checked his man rather there after the ball had been played. Indirect, this free kick. And Gates shoots and scores! Minutes gone, and Ipswich Town take the lead on a ground where they've never won. Mark Brennan just touched the free kick to Eric Gates, and he beat Grobbelaar down to his right. So the team threatened by relegation get off to a good opening here. They played some fairly decent stuff in that opening quarter of an hour, Ipswich, and the reward has come against the Liverpool team still to catch fire after their exertions in Europe. And for Eric Gates, as Joe Fagan perhaps wonders about the original free kick there, it was against Lawrenson. For Eric Gates, his 14th goal of the season. In by Dalglish. Walk. This is Neil. In by Johnston. Well, something here for Ipswich to bite on after 2 consecutive wins to take the lead at Anfield. Gates is offside this time. Eric Gates scored with a good shot there. He sized up the opportunity as Brennan just touched the ball to him and found the corner of the net just beyond Grobbelaar's grasp. And it makes Gates Ipswich's outright top scorer this season now with 14. And here he is again. Zondervan. Jallup. And Sammy Lee. Putney's foul. Question now of what Ipswich have got to resist, because Liverpool are never more threatening than when you spike their own guns. Here's Sammy Lee. That was Johnston. So a free kick this time to Liverpool. Here's Neil. Letting that one run through halfway through the first half, and Ipswich in the lead. Dalglish up against Osman. Trying to turn him, and he did, and Jallup covered. Here's Lee. Osman again. This is Hansen. Header was by Rush. So a free kick to Ipswich, taken by Jallup, and a shove there by Davray. But with 5 games to go and Manchester United also playing at home today, Liverpool can't afford any slips in this championship quest of theirs, and they find themselves a goal behind here in the first half. Hansen. And now Dalglish. Jallup. Lee. Rush. And now Johnston. Putney getting back to challenge. And Gates intercepting a ball meant for Lee. He'll look to his right because Johnston coming in behind him is protesting about the decision. But it's notable that Liverpool have conceded a lot of free kicks in this opening period. The goal came from one of them. And Eric Gates, who's always a difficult player to mark because he twists and turns so well, took a bang there as Johnston came in behind him. Smack in the eye, it would seem. On the side of the head. Osman takes. Here's Whelan trying to release Rush against Cranston. Dalglish is in the middle, Walk is getting there now. It's still Rush, now it's Whelan. Offside against Dalglish. Here's Sunderland. Went over Hansen's head at first. Rush. And here's Phil Neal. Craig Johnston. Putney closing Neal down, and Lawrenson having to cover. Ipswich bucked by that goal, showing plenty of urgency. There's a long, long way to go here. Rush. Johnston. Still Johnston. This time given away to Putney. Davray. Putney looks for Gates, offside. But Ipswich enjoying not just a one-goal lead here, but a generous share of the play also, which they had even before they scored. Hansen. That's Cranston covering. Spot of inexperience maybe there on the part of the 19-year-old. Paul Cooper may have wanted it, although perhaps Cranston didn't hear him. It's a corner to Liverpool. Hansen is forward. And Cooper claims it cleanly. Kennedy. This is Whelan. Rush for the moment over on the left wing, and Kennedy, when he drove out against Zondervan, there was an offside flag up anyway. But Liverpool, perhaps by their standards, a shade lethargic after their midweek match, and Ipswich chasing them at every opportunity. Harassing the man with the ball, but here's Johnston with the ball for Liverpool. Cranston coming across with the header. Dalglish. Ipswich may feel that should have been away before. Russell Osman's making the point to the others. There was a chance to have cleared that, and they didn't take it. Played almost too much football in their own corner of the field there, Ipswich, and they've conceded a corner. And Sammy Lee and Dalglish and Davray. Everybody had to come back to help there. Hawke is waiting behind the penalty spot to run in. It's been played short again to Lee. It's come back to Phil Neal to drive. And Kennedy might hit one. And what a goal! That was a quite tremendous shot by Alan Kennedy, and so typical of the kind of goal he often scores. Not so much this season, it's only his second in fact, but in the past he's shown he can strike them well from that position. And when that Neal effort rebounded to him, Kennedy, through a crowd of players, found the far corner to make the score 1-1 after 31 minutes. Craig Johnston. This is Hansen. And Osman's header. And Lee and Rush. And to his right, Dalglish. This time the rebound knocked on by Walk to Neal. Dalglish. And Rush was coming in at the far side. Although it was a shot by Dalglish, really. Well, I mentioned at the start that Liverpool would be looking for a spectacular finish to the week. And that was a word you could apply to the shot by Alan Kennedy, which brought them level. Now a real test of character for these young Ipswich players, several of whom are experiencing this atmosphere for the first time. Putney. So Osman into Gates. Dalglish. Yallop forward. The goal scorer, Kennedy. Full of confidence now. Whelan outside him. Osman away. And Whelan and Dalglish. Kennedy's in the area. Johnston. And Osman forward to Davray. Forward by Kennedy. Look at John Walk there. Ian Rush. It forced Johnston rather wide. Too wide. But it was first time football by Liverpool. And John Walk was predominant in that, chesting it back there to Rush, who was trying to sweep it out to Johnston. Lawrenson. Zondervan, but this is Whelan. Dalglish, Kennedy. Dalglish in some space. Brushed the head of Russell Osman. Corner. Well, Walk was always dangerous in the air when he was an Ipswich player. And he came in there on Paul Cooper and fouled him. Davray, then Lee, now Rush. Kennedy, movement up front from 4 Liverpool players. Zondervan's header depriving Whelan. Putney's clearance only finding Lee. And now Phil Neal. And Craig Johnston operating mainly on the right in this first half. Whelan's come this side as well now. And Neal, and Lee, Walk's made his run near post, and it ran on, and now Ian Rush has equalled Roger Hunt's record. A landmark for this young striker who just doesn't stop scoring goals. His 42nd of the season. And it was a poached effort, as so many of them are. The move appeared to have broken down, then Walk made a near-post run, and as the ball flew across, Rush was on hand to finish. So, he has equalled Roger Hunt's total, which has stood for 22 years. As far as Joe Fagan's concerned, the important thing is he's put his team 2-1 up on the day. Liverpool, though, have now got some defending to do because Ipswich have a free kick in a similar position to the one from which Gates scored earlier. Brennan is standing just behind him. And they tried to find Osman, but he had to stretch for it. A wasted free kick by Ipswich this time. And they're now a goal behind, having been 1 up. And Ian Rush, the man that's put Ipswich up against it here. Cranston. Call. Forward by Cranston. Sunderland to Gates, offside surely against Sunderland in the middle. This is Dalglish. Walk. Here's Dalglish. And there's so much movement now around this Ipswich penalty area. The cross was by Johnston. It's going to come out to Alan Hansen. Brennan. Ronnie Whelan, a good ball to Craig Johnston. Driven against McCall. These are anxious times now for a comparatively inexperienced Ipswich team. Test of their nerve. Johnston got it back from Dalglish. It's Dalglish again. And off Putney. And here's Neil. Oh, missed by Osmond, but the flag's up. The flag's up. Against John Walk. It's a foul. And the sun deceived Kennedy there, allowing Sunderland to latch onto it and find Zondervan. Davray the target, the header down for Gates. There was a flag up actually for offside against another Ipswich player. Here's Walk. There's Sammy Lee, the chest. Yallop and Gates. Forward by Kennedy. Cranston waiting for the bounce. Yallop for the volley. Flag was up for offside. Ronnie Moran there issuing the instructions. I said well done to him on reaching the European Cup final, and he said well done on what? We haven't won anything yet. That's the Liverpool attitude through and through. They lead here by 2 goals to 1. Well played by Putney. This is McCall, but a 4 forward. But if it breaks down, Ipswich will have to hurry back because this is Rush. And he's just failed to release Ronnie Whelan. But Ian Rush might have caught Ipswich out there through lack of numbers. Lawrenson feeling that Alan Sunderland was shoving him, but nothing given apart from the throw. Here's Gates. Zondervan. Yallop. Was Gates. Lawrenson, and half-time with Ian Rush having put Liverpool into the lead with a goal which he's got reason to remember among the many others he scored. Earlier, Eric Gates had given Ipswich the lead, but with many of their young side inexperienced in terms of playing at Anfield, they cracked when in the 31st minute, Alan Kennedy equalised.
19 minutes, 4 seconds.
Ipswich have in fact drawn on 4 of their last 8 visits to Anfield, but never had a victory here. Find themselves 2-1 behind at the start of the second half. And after this, they have 2 home games, Ipswich, and 1 away, which is at Manchester United, so they couldn't have asked for a tougher end to their battle against relegation as far as the away games are concerned. Here's Putney, though. Mistake by Neil. Davray. And Gates. And turned in for Zondervan, and now for Putney. And the block and the shot by Davray. Well, there's a saying in the game that Liverpool give you 1 chance or maybe 2 in a game. Ipswich took 1 early on, but found, as so many other teams have to their cost, that by scoring against them, you merely put Liverpool on their mettle. Osman. Walk. This is Rush. Neil. Shove there by Mitch Davray. There's Hansen. Oh, driven into the body of Alan Sunderland. Still Hansen. Johnston. Now Neil. Dalglish. Well played by Osman. Having a sound match. And here's Putney. Against Phil Neal. He's gone by him and he's gone by Johnston. But Whelan intercepted, and here's McCall. 6 forward for Ipswich. Putney. As they push men on, as they've got to do in chasing the game, they're going to get caught possibly by a break like this from Rush. What a ball to John Walk. And he sets up Johnston. Terrific run and pass by Ian Rush. Whelan. And here's Johnston. And Cooper at full stretch from Craig Johnston. Sunderland carrying out running repairs while all that was going on. It's a corner to Liverpool, which Neil has played short to Dalglish. And here's Neil again. Johnston. Whelan's made a run across the area. Yallop's clearance. Cranson. And won well by Lee. Rush. And here's Walk. And he hit this one first time, having delayed before. But again, Ian Rush very much in the thick of things. Davray. Flick on by Dalglish, offside against Rush. I wonder what sort of a threat he might pose for Wales against England at Wrexham next Wednesday, because in this rich vein of form, he must be the very devil to try and mark or shut out of a game. Coming into the back of Gates there, and the free kick quickly played to Sunderland. And Kennedy, header back was by Cranson. Now Sunderland, and Brennan got the ball to Gates, and he got it to Putney, but Ipswich didn't make the most of that. They had an extra player on that side of the field and might have made more of an opening. Whelan. Dalglish. Kennedy's made a burst from left back again. There he is. Dalglish. And Osman across to Foyle Walk. And Kennedy. Dalglish. Rush hovering again here. Oh, well blocked by McCall, because Walk would have finished that at the far post. McCall got in the way. Short to Kennedy, the corner. Dalglish. And Cooper right behind it. And Hansen's header comes to Zondervan eventually. Zondervan again. Yallop. Davray is getting up for this, and here's Sunderland offside. It's an acrobatic effort both by Sunderland and by the goalkeeper Grobbelaar, but it wouldn't have mattered. The flag was up. Yallop, whose original cross it was. That was on by Dalglish, and Cooper comes to meet Rush. Lee. Walk. Brennan's tackle, a call. Sunderland starts his run. Little back heel finds Gates. Oh, what good defending by Lawrenson. Dalglish. Rush. And Dalglish, Cranson's there. Such swift play by Liverpool from one penalty area where Lawrenson made the interception right through to the other. Drew applause from the crowd. Cranson. Sunderland. Gates. Davray had come back to avoid being offside. This is Kennedy. Oh, there's some space on that side for Craig Johnston. And he tried to dribble past two opponents, which is not normally Liverpool's style. Lee. Dalglish. Oh, Osman. Again, Ipswich's frontmen having to check to avoid the offside. And Osman working hard to get the ball forward, but he couldn't do so. And here's Dalglish for Liverpool. Lee. Walk is in the centre-forward position here. Osman's header. Lawrenson, Cranston, and now Yallop. Steve McCall to Sunderland. Now Yallop. Sunderland had time to turn and look up. Nice ball into Davray. Here's Gates. Oh, that's a tremendous goal! Well, we're having a treat today. Eric Gates gets his second of the match. No wonder he looks so pleased. The Ipswich Town captain. Lovely ball actually by Sunderland with the outside of the foot. Knocked down by Davray, but talk about an instant volley. That's 2-2 after 57 minutes. And 2 for Eric Gates. And Ipswich showing strength of character here to come back after going behind. But this is Kennedy. And it's come back off Cooper from McCall to clear. The goalkeeper down hurt by the sheer impact of the ball. Wow. An object lesson in shooting here by one player on each side. Alan Kennedy, who scored Liverpool's first goal and hit that last shot. And then for Ipswich, Eric Gates, who's buried 2 beauties. Well, he had a testimonial dinner the other week, Eric Gates, when they showed some of the goals he scored on television, but I shouldn't think he's hit a better one than that second one at the Kop end. It absolutely flew in, despite a very good effort by Grobbelaar to keep it out, actually. So a corner to Liverpool. And Walk is up there. So were 2 defenders. Cooper has recovered after treatment. That's Davray, whose touch was important in that goal. So it's going to be hard work for Liverpool here at the end of a tiring week. Dalglish. It's a good ball. Johnston. Not a good header, though. Putney to Davray. Ipswich beginning to believe in themselves again. Look at Putney and a deliberate handball by Lawrenson. Although, strangely enough, the flag was up for offside already, so it's a question of which offence was first, and it was, in fact, the offside. Johnston. Neal. Here's Lee. And Kennedy to fire another one. And again it's come back off the keeper. who may still be, from Kennedy's powerful shooting, a little shaken, Paul Cooper, after being under treatment a moment ago. Brennan, and now Putney in space. And Hansen's long legs there saved Liverpool because the other defenders were caught. But in this match, you don't quite know what's going to happen next. It's Sammy Lee now for Liverpool. There's a real buzz going round the ground after that second goal by Gates. $15 goals now this season for him. That was Rush, a good ball for Dalglish, but a good stretch too by the number 6, Ian Cranston, only 19. That was an important interception, leaving Dalglish in a little pain. And here's Putney. They're making Liverpool work every inch of the way, are Ipswich. Here's Kennedy. 4 up with him, and Kennedy's shots! Well, how many more is he going to fire today? People often used to say that the best long-range shooting came from the South Americans, but Alan Kennedy can hit them from 25 yards or more, as well as most. That was Davray, and Gates hovering again. Johnson again tries to go through 2 opponents and gets checked as Steve Nicol warms up for Liverpool. Rush. Johnston to Dalglish, who's not having the best of luck at the moment, and indeed his frustration there just spilling over with a foul on Putney. To Zondervan, and Davray's coming in, and Grobbelaar's dropped it and had Neil on hand to help. Gallop, interception was by Whelan, the pass by Dalglish, the run by Rush, Dalglish again, Rush. Cooper coming all the way. Whelan. Three blue shirts trying to cut him off. This is Kennedy. To the line, and Rush over on the far side can get it down. And Cooper stretching. Johnston. And then Osman for Ipswich, and Davray in a good position again here, with Gates spinning off him. That's the threat as far as Liverpool are concerned. Here's Putney. And Johnston gets back. What a very distinctive style, Craig Johnston, not altogether in keeping with the normal Liverpool pattern. Here's Putney. And offside. Well, the antics don't matter, actually, because the flag's been up for quite some time. This is Johnston again. Lawrenson. And Liverpool are going to make a substitution. The injured player is Mark Lawrenson. And he's going to be replaced by Steve Nicol. Substitution about halfway through the second half, and Steve Nicol, who's scored 7 goals this season, is on again as sub. Here's Whelan, and now Dalglish, and Lee, and Cranston. Well, at this stage of the afternoon, a match in which there's always been an awful lot at stake is beautifully poised, because this could affect the championship and the relegation issue more than ever if it was to stay like this. 2-2 wasn't the expected score from here, but with over 20 minutes left, it's Johnston on the ball for Liverpool. Hansen. Now it's McCall. Ipswich still playing with some assurance. And Gates, oh, he wanted a dummy there for Davray to come in. Here's Osman. It's a foul, is it? Surely, yes. Fans may argue, but I'm certain Russell Osman was pushed or tripped. Osman takes it himself. Whelan heads it out. Cranston back in. And it's Nicol. This is Dalglish, and now Lee, and trying to push Walk in there. Oh, and Cranston and McCall both a little edgy, but clearance in the end. It's finally come to Gates, and now Davray. And forward by Brennan, and Liverpool have moved Phil Neal into the central of the defence. Osman. The reorganisation, Rush. And here's Putney. Gates is trying to stay onside. This is Sunderland. And in the end, John Walk having to sort things out. And with 20 minutes left, it's Whelan for Liverpool. Dalglish. Johnston with Rush to his right, and Rush has gone past two and was stopped by the third, who was Putney. And Liverpool need the crowd's backing at this stage of the match. Rush has come to contest this, got a flick. This is Whelan, Dalglish. This is Brennan now to Gates, and a good touch to Sunderland. Ipswich moving sweetly in parts today. Zondervan. And Nicol, who's playing at right back since he came on, gets the ball away. But Zondervan for Ipswich, wondering whether he can get Yallop away here. He's onside. Who's come across, and so too has Neil now. In fact, Phil Neal, since the departure of Lawrenson, is playing centre-back and leaving the right-back berth to the substitute, who's on the ball now, Steve Nicol, through to Walk. Here's Nicol. And Walk. And Rush makes a run. It might run for Dalglish, or even for Rush. Ipswich defending stoutly there. And Whelan. Rush. This is Sunderland. Gates starts his run offside. Hansen forward to Walk. That looks a good ball. Johnston. Nichols going up outside him. And Johnston somewhat wasting an opportunity there for Liverpool. This is Sunderland. Kennedy. Liverpool notoriously strong in the last 15 to 20 minutes of any game. That's going to perhaps be the crunch time here, as far as both teams are concerned now, with it being poised at 2-2, it's got to be, but Ipswich know only too well the extent of Liverpool's stamina. Here's Kennedy. Whether it's been drained by the European match, we shall see. Lee. Walk moving across the area. And here's Johnston. Kennedy. Dalglish chasing with Cranston, and it needed Osman to come over. Dalglish, Walk is coming in, and Steve McCall ran across with him and did enough. Did he touch the ball, McCall, is the question. I thought from here he had deflected it, and indeed the referee has given the corner. So, 15 minutes left, Liverpool's corner, Johnston taking it. was Cranston who made the break. And a good one it was too, and there are 4 up with him here. That's Nicol. Only Leicester City in the league and Walsall in the Milk Cup have managed to score twice against Liverpool at Anfield this season before today. So some achievement, at least by Ipswich, irrespective of whether they hold on or not. Awkward bounce, Gates is in there. Oh, and the back header. Nicol getting tangled up there with the other defenders, and Gates saying to the other Ipswich players, we can still not only draw here, but we could even snatch it. This is, believe it or not, Ipswich's first corner of the match. And Davray and Cranston have gone onto the near post. And Davray's flick, Osman's in there. Did well to get it back to Brennan, actually. That's lofted a bit further, and look at Grobbelaar, he's way out. Here's Putney, Gates wants it wide. There's the ball back in for Davray. And Liverpool not looking very tidy. And here's Rush. Into Whelan. Nicol coming up from the back. Johnston is wide. And the cross as Walk goes in is headed out by Yallop. Now can Ipswich survive? Dalglish short to Kennedy. Still Kennedy. And Dalglish again. It's a square ball for Nicol to shoot, but well wide from the Liverpool sub. Nicol came on because Mark Lawrence actually received a kick on the thigh, so it was an enforced substitution which deprived Liverpool of one of their key players, but Nicol, now experienced. Hansen with the kick. This is Nicol. Johnston out on the right wing still, into Lee. And, Liverpool's passing not quite as measured as normal. Slice was by McCall. The player marking Dalglish is McCall, in fact, and he gets a foot in there and also gets the decision against Johnston. Davray, foul by Phil Neal, who's now having to mark up as a central defender. And McCall finds Yallop. So, 10 minutes left. Are Ipswich going to pull off a shock result here? It's Zondervan, well, not like that, because Liverpool, who need the extra 2 points here for their championship bid, have Nicol coming forward just as badly as Ipswich need one in their fight against relegation. Johnston, and walks on the near post. Brennan got a foot to it. Johnston again. 4 in the centre here for Liverpool. And a corner given. It's going to come out to Kennedy. This is Neil. And now McCall. Neil again. Liverpool perhaps missing the inspiration and drive of Souness today, more than you might have expected. Dalglish in for Walker. And he's pulled it back, but Cooper made a good save from John Walk's cross. Dalglish was the instigator of the move. But if you start to talk about the absence of Souness and now Lawrence, you've got to balance that up by saying Ipswich have come here without Burley and without Butcher. And it's 2-2 with Kennedy on the ball and 8 minutes left. Whelan. And still Whelan. What a good cross. Rush was trying to cut that off. Eric Gates, the skipper, has led the Ipswich team well today. Scored 2 goals and always been a threat up there. Here comes Zondervan and Davray. And it's Nicol for Liverpool. They can't afford another injury. That's Alan Kennedy who's now hobbling. Cranston. Oh, Dalglish. That's a good effort. And some people at the other end of the ground thought it had actually dipped underneath the crossbar. It was mighty close. And nobody knows that better than Paul Cooper. That really was a fine volley by Kenny Dalglish, a dipper, and it could so easily have won the match. That was Sunderland, offside. Here's Davray, offside again against Gates. He's getting a little irritated now because he's been caught 2 or 3 times in the last few minutes. Nicol looks for Johnston. And it was McCall's first challenge and Osman's second, and Liverpool chasing this winning goal, which would be so vital to them, have a corner. There are only about 5 minutes left. Dalglish. Nicol. And Neil has come forward from his centre-back position, where he's slotted in for Lawrenson. Rush. Dalglish turned on again, but not in the path of Johnston. An opportunity beckoning Ipswich here. If they could take a point from a match which most people thought they would lose, it would certainly help their cause, but obviously not Liverpool's. Putney volleying it forward. Kennedy. And Rush here. Dalglish just inside him. Cranston stuck to his task. Kennedy now. And Johnston's coming in from the far side. And Brennan made contact. And thankfully for him and Ipswich, it deprived John Walk from Mark Brennan there. The interception which could mean so much. But Liverpool still have possession. Dalglish. Nickel forward. Davray was back to help. It's going to be a tense last 3 minutes here. Even the referee fell over there. The excitement. Here's Walk. Nickel. It was Johnston who went down. And Liverpool have the free kick, which is played short to Neil. And into Dalglish, and Sammy Lee almost made it. Grobbelaar out of his area to start Liverpool off again. And Davray acting now as an extra defender for Ipswich. This is Neil, and here's Kennedy. And now Whelan. And Putney for Ipswich, obstructed by Nickel. Neil with the header. Osman for Ipswich. Now McCall. Here's their time for a late winner. Dalglish flicking it on. Walk is forward. Here's Rush. Oh. Well, we're going into the last minute of normal time. The score 2-2. And Lee for Liverpool. Putney stepped in. Oh, penalised. Well, he might feel a bit aggrieved about that, but it's a free kick to Liverpool. Lee takes it, swings it, only as far as Zondervan. Now Gates. And Ipswich can break here. Zondervan sliding it back into Gates. And here's Kennedy. And Dalglish. Block was by Osman. This is Whelan for Liverpool. The flick on was by Dalglish, but was Whelan fouled as he followed through? He went for a possible return and got blocked off. And Liverpool have a free kick on the edge of the Ipswich penalty area in stoppage time. So much can hinge on what happens here at both ends of the First Division. Will Johnny Walk strike one against his old club? Number 10. Dalglish has moved the ball and chipped, and just wide. Well, a few Ipswich hearts would have fluttered there. They've got their band of supporters over in that far corner, and they're looking at their watches. They know we've played 1 minute of stoppage time. And here's Johnston. Nickel. And still. Johnston once more. And now Neil. And Walk. Lee. Referee again checks his watch. Kennedy. And that's it. A fine point for Ipswich with 2 goals by Eric Gates, the second a brilliant effort. Alan Kennedy's goal for Liverpool in the first half, and Ian Rush's second to put his side 2-1 up were not enough to clinch the match, and Liverpool have dropped 2 home points in their bid to achieve their 3rd consecutive championship. Ipswich saluting their supporters, because when this match started, few people would have predicted this result. And who knows, that point could go a long way towards keeping Ipswich Town in the 1st division. Liverpool 2, Ipswich 2.